Hello, my lovely YouTubers. Welcome to my channel, my safe space, my safe corner. I'm on Nela Skobolana. Thank you so much for popping by once again. And today we'll be doing a get ready with me video. It's a Saturday morning. It's nice and bright outside, and I will be getting ready because normally on certain Saturdays, I've just changed my routine to making sure that on Saturdays, if I'm at home, I don't rest. I work. So what I do is, if I'm going to be working on my side hustle, I make sure that I dedicate the whole Saturday to that. So what I normally do in the morning when I wake up, I shower just like I do when I'm going to work. I prepare, I get ready, I dress up, and then I rush like I'm going to work, like literally everything like I'm going to work. And then I get to set the tone, because I want to set the tone actually to making it feel like I'm at work, and then probably knock off at 1 or 2, and then after that I start doing my own stuff here at home, chilling. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So get ready with me as I'm going to go to work at home. So I woke up and I've just made my bed and brushed my teeth, and then I decided I'm going to put on my face mask as I'm going to be as I'm going to be showering, sorry. And then after showering, I will decide on what I'm going to wear. And then after that, I will put on my makeup and yeah, get ready and set up my working station here at home. And then yeah, we'll take it from there. So don't move an inch. And as you're watching, please do not forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button together with the notification bell. I'm nervous because this is my first get ready with me video. And shout outs to Oazasai Kendibe. We went to high school together, and she encouraged me on my social media on Facebook to lighten up a bit, and to try such videos. So I'm nervous. I don't know how this is gonna turn out, but please do tell me how this makes you feel, and tell me how you rate this video. Actually, yeah, rate it. I don't know what to say, but I want to hear from you what you think of this get ready with me video.
Done showering, and my skin is feeling refreshed after that mask. Now I'm gonna get dressed, and whilst I'm getting dressed, I'll be putting on my makeup, and then also be sharing what I wanted to talk about today. And then when we're done with that, I'll show you how I set up my working station. It's really nothing fancy, but how I prefer to work when I'm at home, how I prefer my station to be, and then yeah, we'll take it from there. So let me just quickly get dressed, and then I will talk whilst I'm putting on.
So now I'm all dressed, and I'm just gonna put on makeup and my hair as well. I hope you guys can see me well. I don't know, but anyways, I'm gonna put on some makeup, and as I'm putting on makeup, I'll also be talking. So I must put in a disclaimer though, that which is something I get a lot from people. People always feel that I'm always intact, everything is always in shape, everything is always organized. I must put in this disclaimer that it's not always like that. I'm human like everyone else, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I woke up and I shot my first video as I was waking up, and I did procrastinate, and I watched a movie whilst I was having my breakfast. So the time now is 10 o'clock, and the time I was doing that video was 8:30. So I need you to know that what keeps me organized, or what keeps me on what I had planned, is knowing that even if I had messed up the original plan, I don't shift from it. If for example, I planned that I'm going to wake up and pray, and then I get distracted, I make sure that I don't yield to that distraction forever. But if I'm distracted, I go back to doing the original plan, of course. So I need you to know that it's not always, my life is not always organized or intact. So yeah, so I'm going to be doing my makeup, and I also want to share something about a movie I was watching
this movie on Netflix, and it's called God Calling. And I found it, okay, let me just quickly take my stuff out. And I found that movie to be so interesting. And what's basically happening in that movie, what I learned from that movie is the discipline that you should have as a Christian, and also when God is calling you to do something, you should always do what He's called you to do. So the lady in that movie, she was using drugs, and she lost her husband, and after losing, not her husband, she lost her daughter, and after losing her daughter, she actually learned to trust God. And I'm just going to summarize. I'm not going to talk about the whole movie, but she learned to trust God. And in her trusting God, God was calling her. The person who's actually called in that movie is that lady. So as God is calling her, she was, of course, she didn't want to be called at first. She ran away from the calling in so many ways until God had to do something in her household to get her attention, which reminds me so much of myself that number one, when God wants me to do something, most of the time, I'm not sure if it's really Him saying I should do that thing, and the only way to run away from it is pretend like He didn't say anything and ignore it. So that's what the lady did as well. She ignored that calling, and God was persistent. God wasn't relaxing. He kept coming and coming to this lady via a call, because this lady would get phone calls and it would be written God calling. And it reminds me of when God had told me to start a war room in my house. In my house, we've got 4 bedrooms. So one of the rooms, God said I should turn it into being a war room. And I was excited when He said this to me, and He told me why. And I said, okay, God, I'm going to do it. And guess what? I procrastinated until the devil came. And when he came, he whispered in me that, no, turn it. You know, the devil and his tricks, he came and he said, no, you know what? Turn that room into a war room, but first decorate it. Do this, do this in that room, do that. You know, he started planting these great ideas in me to do. And whilst I was focusing on those ideas, I didn't realize that I was wasting time. And I didn't realize that the things I needed to pray for, they were not on pause. They were not waiting for me. Things were happening. Things were not being fine. Things were getting messed up, waiting for me to pray. And I was busy wanting to fix up this room to make sure that it looks so good. So until something happened, something bad happened. And I had no other choice than to go to God and be like, God, this is what happened. And I'm not happy. And God said, I told you to not negotiate with the devil. I told you to not negotiate with him, because his plans are never good plans. He's just come to distract you. So this movie, as I was watching it, it reminded me of that when God says do something, do it. When He calls you, answer, because you're not going to find rest until you answer Him, until you hear what He's got to say. And as I was watching the movie, I was also crying, because at some point in my marriage, I felt that my husband does not understand me. I felt that, and that's something I cried a lot to God about. I felt that I can't understand the man. I felt, God, whenever you say this to me and I tell Him, I seem like I'm crazy sometimes, because the things I say, the way I react to things sometimes, it really makes Him feel that, I'm just being dramatic sometimes, or, it's just, I'm just being a woman, I'm just being crazy. So, what He used to do now bothered me. You know what He does when He doesn't believe me, when He doesn't support me enough. I felt that, God, I don't know why you keep bringing these things to me. I don't know why you keep showing me these things, because when I go to Him, I always become discouraged. When I expect Him to say something, when I expect Him to be by my side, to understand me, to believe me, He's not by my side. And as I was watching this movie, I'm seeing exactly that. As I was watching that movie, I could see my husband and I could see my spiritual journey, because it's something that was a cry in my heart. And this pained me a lot, it pained me a lot. And sometimes I would complain, and, even if I'm complaining and pouring out my heart to Him, He would see that in this certain situation, He's not hearing me out, And as I was watching this lady and her husband and in this movie, I could learn a lot. I could see myself a lot in them, and a lot in what is happening. So as I was watching, I kept pausing and kept writing down notes, learning from that movie, because I realized that God pushed me to watch that movie. He sent me to watch that movie so that I could know that when I face any trials of any kind in my calling, I should not expect to be understood. I should not expect my husband to understand me and to have all the answers, because sometimes I would expect my baby, say something, baby, respond, why are you quiet, what do you think about this, what do you think about that? And it's not his calling, it's my calling, and I'm busy wanting him to say something. So on that note, I realized that no, God is mostly of the time teaching me something, and in this movie he's teaching me that rely on me fully. And he was expressing this through a movie. He was saying this in a movie. And as I was watching this movie, I'm praying and I'm asking myself that, God, so that's why I came to watch this movie. That's why you made me come switch on my TV, This movie basically taught me that rely on God and know that He is the one who gave you a calling, and He's the only one who will have the answers. And when you choose to rely on Him, when you choose to ask Him all these questions, when you choose to focus on only Him and the calling that is upon your life, He fixes all the other areas in your life. I'm watching how God was using this lady to minister to her husband, to her friend's husband, because the friend was going to get divorced. And I'm watching how God used this lady to minister to the friend's husband. And right after she ministered, she went back to her praying moment and she was crying because she is busy ministering to someone else whilst her marriage on the side is falling apart, whilst on the side she's not being understood by her husband. So I learned that it's always best to trust God. It's always best to, when you have a calling, after saying yes to your calling, trust God, because most of the time we don't want to say yes to our calling, not because of anything, but because we want people to understand that I've got this great calling upon my life, and now that I have this calling, I want you guys to understand, and I want you guys to just set the tone for me, to set the atmosphere for me, we want to be understood. We want everything to be on a silver plate. We want everything to just be out there. And on this movie, God is showing me that it's not going to be like that. It's not going to be like that at all. When I've called you, I will open the way for you. I will make things for you. Because I'm the one who has called you. I'm the one who has sent you to do this thing. So I'm the one who's going to fix your path for you. Who's going to fix everything for you. You need to trust me, not even your spouse, And I was deeply moved. I was actually crying as I was watching this movie. I was crying because I'm perplexed at how God can use a movie to speak to you, use a movie to illustrate what He's been trying to communicate with you, and you are not understanding it. So he sent me to watch that movie so that I could understand what he's been saying all this time. So I started posting on my social media telling people to watch this movie because of how I've learned from this movie. And it's not really about the movie for me. It's about how God can put into picture what He's been explaining to you, how He can assure you through pictures and through the art of acting that, listen, you need to trust me. You need to know that I have placed this calling upon your life, and whom I have called, I always make sure that I provide for that person, irregardless of what they are asking for. My provision may not be finances, but my provision may be support, maybe clarity, maybe understanding, maybe a great marriage, maybe a happy home, maybe support from the people around me, and that's what's perplexed me. That's what has made me realize that God is so amazing. God, when He calls you, He equips you in so many ways. I'm so moved by that, and I've learned that I should stop this procrastinating thing, because if you don't obey God, you have to pay the price. You have to pay the price. This lady had to pay the price of not obeying God by losing her child. So she lost her only child. And that's when, after losing a child, her faith grew stronger in the Lord. But it didn't just grow stronger in God. She didn't just respond to the call of God right after losing the child. She lost herself. She tried to kill herself. She went back more onto cocaine, drugs, and she did a whole sort of things. And all this time, God was calling her, So if God has been calling you, he won't be calling you just like he was calling this lady, because he was literally calling this lady via a phone call, and every time a phone would call, she would freak out. God is calling me, and people think she's crazy. And as she's freaking out, she would be so angry because she's just lost her child, and this phone is busy ringing, and it's written God calling, So it's really best to be obedient than for you to pay the price, than for you to sacrifice something. Because I feel that in this particular movie, this lady had to sacrifice her daughter, and in her sacrificing her daughter, that's when she only understood that what's been happening all along. And I don't want you to make that same mistake. I had to pay the price as well. Right after God had told me to make a prayer room, to make a war room in my house, and I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. First, I'm going to fix up this room, do this, do that. I paid the price, and the price was not quite a fair price. And it wasn't a price that I could afford, It dug deep in my pocket, in my spiritual pocket. It costed me a lot. It costed me my peace. It costed me happiness. It costed me confidence. It costed me a lot. And it costed me a lot. I'm coming out of that these past few weeks, past few days, because if you realize, I didn't post a video. My last video, I think it was a week ago, I could not post at all because I was busy trying to get means to pay for the price of my disobedience. So you don't really need to get disobedient for you to learn. I want you to learn even through my experience, to even watch this movie as well and learn through this lady's experience that obedience is better than sacrifice. And when God is calling you, you need to trust that he has called you, and you need not to want to be understood by people. You need to fully rely on him, and the one who has called you will definitely provide for you, So let me just quickly continue with my makeup. I think I'm done because I just want a simple look. I always love putting on foundation and just doing my brows, putting on mascara, and then probably let me put in lipstick as well. So this movie has taught me that we should just really fully rely on God. We should just really go for our callings, and know that after you have gone for it and you have chosen to fully rely on him, the rest is up to him. The rest is really up to him, because I'm watching as well at how God started working in this lady's family. He first worked on this lady's friend's husband. That man changed. That man stopped wanting to do a divorce, stopped cheating on his wife, and God continued to work in this lady's father. That's what God does. This lady did not spend so much time in asking, but she spent so much time in being with God. And when we choose to say yes to our calling, to what God has called us for, and we choose not to pay attention to what's happening around us, we choose not to soak ourselves in our situations, to soak ourselves in the misunderstanding that is happening around, to soak ourselves in everything that's happening, and rather soak ourselves in God, then God fixes everything. I think I've said this on my last video, that when we choose to occupy ourselves with God's work, when we choose to occupy ourselves with what God has called us for, he occupies himself with our needs. He occupies himself with everything else that is in our hearts. When we choose to seek his kingdom first, everything else follows. Everything we long for, everything we desire, it follows after, So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. So I'm done with my makeup. I realized that my lipstick is not here, so I'm just going to get my lipstick. And right after getting my lipstick, I'll put on my hair as well. And I'll start working until it's 5. And then at 5 o'clock, I'm going to be leaving. So let me just quickly get my lipstick and put on my hair. I need to also plait my hair as well. And yeah, a part of me is tempted to go like this, I feel so refreshed. I feel so beautiful with my own hair, yeah, but and my hair has grown. Oh, My hair has
Let me get my lipstick. So now I'm done. So now I'm done with my makeup, and I've put on my lipstick, and I've put on my hair, and I've put on my everything. Yeah, I think I've put on everything I need to put on. Just when I'm about to leave the house, I'll just put on my earrings, and I'm just gonna stand up and show you my whole look, how I look now that I'm done dressing up. Then I'll show you my workstation. So this is the whole look. And I'm also going to put on my jacket. Now that my look is finished, I just want to show you where I'll be working here at home. Normally, I love working on the couch because I become so comfortable. And also, as I'm comfortable, I always, like literally always, when I'm at home, I always put on a fleece. I'm always cold. So I always put on my fleece, and yeah. And because today it's extra cold, it's even raining outside. I don't know if you're able to see that. It's raining outside, so yeah, a fleece makes sense, it makes sense. Everyone who visits me at home knows that this is my working corner, my corner. As you can see, I've got my fleece, I've got my diary, my remote, because I love watching TV as I work, and my snack, I love those chips, and yeah, and my laptop. So thank you so much for joining me on my Get Ready With Me video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was my first one. So please don't forget to comment and tell me what you think. How did I pull it out? I've been nervous throughout, because it's something I've never done before. But please do share and tell me your views, comment, like, and do not forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.